Killzone has always had the stigma of being picked last, as mainstream consumers have routinely picked other first-person shooter games over it. After Killzone Mercenary on the PlayStation Vita, I must say I was stoked to give Guerrilla Games and this visually stunning game my full attention. Killzone Shadowfall is a PlayStation 4 release game looking to move into the ranks of the top-tier first-person shooters like Halo, Call of Duty, and Battlefield, but is this beautiful effort enough to graduate? Following the detonation that rendered the planet Helgen uninhabitable in Killzone 3, the ISA grants refuge to the Helghast survivors on planet Vecta, allowing them to colonize half of the planet. This half is now called New Helgen. A massive security fortification called the Wall is constructed to separate the two civilizations from each other due to resentments they bear over the previous war. The game begins in the year 2370, several years after the construction of the Wall. During the forced relocation of Vectans out of New Helgen, Michael Keller and his young son Lucas, the main protagonist, attempt to sneak through New Helgen to the Wall, avoiding encounters with the Helghast along the way. They meet Sinclair, a shadow marshal who aids them in making it through to safety. Just as the group makes it to the Wall, Helghast forces spot them and kill Michael, much to Lucas's horror. After Sinclair dispatches the remaining forces, he promises Lucas that he will look after him. So your father dies when you're a young man. This guy, Sinclair, takes you under his wing and teaches you how to be a shadow marshal like him. That's where the story goes. We've seen this kind of story before. Personally, I've seen it done better. The story between Lucas Kellen, the Helghast, and the Vectan quickly devolves into a mess from my point of view. I found myself not caring for the plight of the Vectans or the Helghast and feeling like the story was becoming a chore to follow. Up on the D-pad was all I cared about as it pointed me to the next objective in the current level. From the beautiful locales, to the slick animation of characters, to the amazing lighting effects, which I must say are truly next-gen, this game pumps out some of the best console graphics I have ever seen. The only thing I will say that I was disappointed with is that there are not enough outdoor levels that really show off what Guerrilla can do. Early in the game, you see some outdoor locales that are absolutely mind-blowing. You walk around, you look at the sky, you look at the ground, and you just long for more. It makes your mouth water for more of that, and unfortunately, the game quickly goes back to a corridor shooter. Now, the gameplay. Let me just say this now. The PlayStation 4's DualShock 4 is the best first-person shooter controller in the world now. Period. Killzone Shadowfall utilizes this hardware to the max, so it is no surprise that Guerrilla found a genius way to use the touchpad in a unique way as it controls the Owl. The Owl is your robot assassin that can create shields with a swipe down on the touchpad, create a zip line with a swipe right on the touchpad, and can stun enemies by swiping left on the touchpad. I had a ball using this robot as cover fire and as a distraction to my enemies. The zipline is a great escape tool, but in later levels I hardly used it as the level design began to take steps back and scaled back heavily on the open world gameplay. That was a huge disappointment. Starting off in this game, it is open world, truly open world, and as the levels progress, you feel less and less of that. In the earlier levels, I felt like I did playing games like Crysis, as they offered many routes to your objectives and in many ways to dispatch your enemies. Later in the campaign, I felt more like Guerrilla lost its desire to be creative and instead decided to go with more linear and enclosed levels, which is a shame as I truly enjoyed the more open and expansive levels. There are levels in Killzone that are extremely unforgiving, as being seen or touched on some of the levels by civilians or enemies will result in an almost instant death. Control mechanics on certain levels can be very difficult, to say the least, as I died multiple times on certain spots trying to navigate flight paths that were simply not fun. The weapons in Killzone feel powerful as each bullet sends a little kickback through the DualShock 4, but they rarely feel heavy enough to slow you down. Some missions in Killzone single player are great, others are straight linear, lineup of shoot-up gallery arenas, but I must say that there is an area when you are accompanied by Maya, a half-breed agent with a sniper rifle, and it was a great feeling pointing at enemies that I couldn't shoot and watching her take them out. Other areas fall flat, like the one in particular that has you assume control of a spider-like robot and destroy control panels to open doors. Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer is really where the fun begins. With multiple modes, weapons, and the ability to create your own custom game rooms, the possibilities are truly endless, making the replay value worth the cost of entry alone. I haven't spent a very long time with multiplayer, but I am loving what I've seen so far, and I've truly enjoyed and think I will for a very long time. Killzone Shadowfall is a beautiful game that feels bland at times through the campaign. The use of the owl, along with the overall shooting mechanics, are great, but the story and characters could definitely have been written better to create a bond between the player and the protagonist. I feel myself not really caring about the plight or the life or impending death of Lucas. The multiplayer, on the other hand, is a great step in the right direction, with close quarter matches with an unlimited amount of custom modes, as it is a saving grace for this game. Killzone Shadowfall gets a beastly score of 7.5. Be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. I'm the Beastly Gamer, and I'm out.